Yeah, today is definitely a different day as far as the fellowship is concerned. We didn't have a pre-plan. And when I share these prophetic items, please realize something. I'm just a man. I'm just a guy that gets up, reads the Bible, and talks to the Lord and believes that he's going to talk to me. And we talk. Sometimes people ask me if I pray a lot, and I say, I don't know if I pray a lot, but I have a lot of dialogues with God. Does that count for prayer? It's not about being some religious thing. And certainly what I'm going to share with you here now, in some respects, is pretty profound. It is, but he's the one that inspired it. And so what he was simply looking for is, and he's always looking for, is he's looking for men and women and that he can have a conversation with and share things with. Because he's, in so many ways, I think God wanted friends. That's why he created men and women. He wanted friends. People he could hang out with and talk to and share with and hear our dreams and our visions and our hopes and desires. And he just loves that kind of, it's just camaraderie, with the living God. And some people have kind of blown that all up to such a thing of, oh God, and I've come to realize, he is the most amazing friend I've ever had. And he definitely is the captain. He is the engineer running this train. But what a joy it is to be a part of what he's doing. So I want to share a couple of things with you in the next few minutes that he shared with me. And so I'm not going to, I'm not trying to necessarily interpret everything he said. I'm not here to defend what I heard. I'm a messenger. I'm just going to share with you, I'm going to share with you my journal. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to share a little bit of my journal. I want to share it with you. So if you will allow me to be your friend and share with you what my experience has been and what I've written down in my journal. So I want to begin, first of all, by glorifying Jesus Christ. It is for his glory we do what we do. Amen. It is for his glory because, believe me, he is real. And I can honestly say, he is my friend, he is my elder brother, he is my God, he is my Savior, he's my all in all. And I just love this incredible relationship that he invited me into and I said yes to. I'm so grateful that he invited me into this relationship. And I'm so grateful that he trusted me with some of these things that were on his heart. Revelations chapter 10. Starting in verse 1 through verse 6. I want to get this context so you get the context for this. Revelations chapter 10, starting in verse 1. I saw another strong angel coming down out of heaven, clothed with a cloud, and the rainbow was upon his head, and his face was like the sun, and his feet were like pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book, which was open. He placed his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. And then he cried out with a loud voice as when a lion roars. And when he cried out, there were 7 peals of thunder. This is very critical. Listen, this was John, a disciple of Jesus. John was on the Isle of Patmos. The Romans had tried to kill him in a variety of ways. They tried to boil him in oil, as the story goes, and nothing worked. They couldn't kill John. So they finally put him on this prison island, Patmos, in the Aegean Sea, off of the island, or off the nation of Greece. And he wrote this. And so what John is doing is writing down what he's experiencing. Now, you'll notice here he talks about angels, and he's talking about the foot on the sea and the left on the land, and cried out. Where's all that? What's John doing? He's describing a vision. He's telling you, he's sitting there, and he's just caught up in this incredible vision, and in this vision, this is what he's seeing, and this is what he's hearing with his ears. He's sitting on the island experiencing this. Pretty amazing. But listen to this. It says, he cried out, the angel cried out, the 7 peals of thunder uttered their voice. He cried out with a loud voice as when the lion roars, and when he had cried out, the 7 peals of thunder uttered their voices. When the 7 peals of thunder had spoken, I was about to write what I heard, a voice from heaven saying, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, seal up the things which the 7 peals of thunder have spoken. Do not write them. So we have to realize, John just heard something. He heard 7 peals of thunder. He was going to write down what he heard. The challenge is, just as John, just as us, all of us, anybody that calls themselves prophetic or a prophet, really what they're really saying is, I've grown in my intimacy with the Lord to the point where he and I have conversations on the deepest matters. And so he trusts me with his heart. He trusts me to share with him profound things. Well, God was showing that he trusted John with something very significant, and that was the sound of the 7 peals of thunder. Now, if John began to write, John would have been writing from his frame of reference. In other words, if John saw things that he couldn't recognize, that were outside of his frame of reference, as he would try to write those things out, they would not make sense to him, and they probably wouldn't make sense to, well, they might make sense to us, but they probably would not have made sense to John, because they would have been outside of his frame of reference. But yet he wanted to write what he heard. But he was told specifically, I was about to write, in verse 4, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, seal up the things which the 7 peals of thunder have spoken, and do not write them. Then the angel whom I saw standing on the sea and on the land lifted up his right hand to heaven and swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things in it, and the earth and the things in it, and the sea and the things in it, and said, there will be delay no longer. That must have been riveting for John to go through that experience. He literally he heard the 7 thunders, and he wanted to start writing. But had he started writing, he would have been writing from his frame of reference, and it probably would not have made any sense to him, and it probably, had it been recorded by him, it probably could have been very confusing to anyone that read it. So the Lord said, don't write it. He said, seal it up. Okay, on September 30th, 2023, I was awakened by extreme thunder. This is my testimony. This is what I experienced. There was thunder so loud over our house, probably the loudest thunder I've ever heard in my life, and I've heard a lot of thunder, being in Iowa and in Oklahoma. I know what thunder sounds like. But this thunder was unique from anything I've ever heard in my life. It literally rattled the house, the windows rattled. It was radical. And I sat there in this moment of inspiration, divine inspiration, revelation, and this is what happened in that moment. In that moment, on September 30th, 2023, I saw a vision. And what I saw was a scroll. A man was holding a scroll. I saw a hand and I saw a scroll. It was beautiful. There were 7 seals on the scroll. Each seal was red wax with an imprint of a lion's head into each one of the seals. And then from each seal was red ribbon was hanging from each seal. I saw this in my mind's eye. It was in my sanctified imagination. That's where it was happening. But I saw this in the spirit, if you will. And then I saw a hand come down with a yod. And if you don't know what a yod is, it is what is used by the Hebrew folks to read the Torah, to read the Hebrew without touching the paper with their literal fingers. They have a silver item pointer to point down to the letters, and what's funny about the yod, it looks like a hand with a finger on it. But they reach down and they point to the letters and they read right to left. So I saw this yod come down and point to the first seal. Well, immediately that got my attention, because I immediately thought of the scripture in John and Revelation going, whoa, the 7 seals, the 7 thunders, the first thunder, and this is what I heard, on September 30th, 2023, the first seal is about to break, and the first thunder is about to speak. My impression, the sense I got from that was that these 7 seals represent events that would affect the entire world. These are significant events that would radically affect the entire world. That was my sense. There was a sense of awe in the midst of that revelation, going, oh my goodness, the 7 seals, the 7 thunders are about to speak. The first seal is about to be broken. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was like going, whoa. On October 7th, 2023, in the afternoon, I was in the Oasis Church in Ohio, Middletown, Tim Sheets Church, sitting in a conference. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon on October 7th, I was rattled. I tell people it was as if my insides turned to jello, and I just was vibrating under this revelation, this sense that the first seal broke. October 7th, 2023, the first seal broke. If John heard the thunder talk about what was going to happen in Israel on October 7th, 2023, how would John possibly have tried to write that down and describe what he saw? What he saw, which he had no frame of reference for, was Israel came under a horrendous attack. And did it affect the entire world? Is it still affecting the world? Absolutely. You can imagine my excitement on one hand going, whoa, okay, that was the first seal. When's the next one going to be? Well, you can't make these things up. And you certainly cannot force God's hand. He's only going to share with you what he's going to share with you. For all I knew, he was never going to show me another seal again. I would never have that experience again. How do I know? But on May 21st, 2024, on May 21st, 2024, I saw that hand come down with the yod and point to the second seal. May 21st, 2024. And immediately when I had that experience, I knew that the next seal was about to break and that next thunder was about to speak. That was May. Well, May came and went, nothing happened. June came and went, nothing happened. For all I knew, it could be months. It could be years. It could be that I would never experience that happening. I didn't know until July 13th, 2024. On July 13th, 2024, it became clear to me that the second seal broke. Former President Donald Trump, there was an assassination attempt on his life. Can you imagine John trying to describe that in the book of Revelation? He would have had no frame of reference. How would he even begin to describe what he heard? That the assassination attempt would happen. It had global impact, and it's still having global impact right now. Because listen, whether we agree or don't disagree, whether we like President Trump or we don't like him, whether we're involved in politics or not involved in politics, whatever our personal opinions may be, that man was supposed to die on July 13th, and America was supposed to go in to national mourning over the death of a president. That's what the enemy of our souls had planned, and I'm going to leave it there. That is what the enemy intended to happen, and miraculously, he was saved. Miraculously, he was saved. Now, I know that people could send in their cards and letters and say, well, who are you trying to make yourself out to be? And who are you trying to make out President Trump to be? What are you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. I'm relating to you my experience. It's up to you with what you do with it. I just experienced it, and I'm describing to you my experience. The impression that I had, loud and clear, the second seal broke. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is that on August 24th, 2024, I saw the third seal being highlighted. If the first one was what happened on October 7th, and the second one was what happened on July 13th, what is this next seal? What's going to happen? When that thunder releases that sound for a global impact, what will happen? I don't know yet. The first seal broke, and within 1 week, the pointing to the first seal happened, and 1 week later, the manifestation. The second seal was pointed to in May. The revelation didn't happen until July. So I don't know what the time frame is, and I certainly don't know what is going to happen, but all I'm saying is God, who is, and He is talking to those with ears to hear what He has to say, and I'm dialoguing with Him as He shares. I want to say something. He would like to share with you. I'm not special. He'd love to share with you because we are friends.